Hello and welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. This is Sarah Stovetop coming to you live from my kitchen. And tonight I am talking all about grilling tips. I've got 8 simple summer grilling tips for you. So I'd love to know where you're tuning in from and who's out there. So feel free to type in where you are coming from, sorry, and what do you like to grill? The question of the day, what do you like to grill? Are you a griller? Does somebody else in your house do the grilling? In my house, I let my husband do the grilling, but I do have all these tips for you. So let's get started. My number 1 tip, and this isn't a countdown, it's in no particular order, it's just the tips. Okay, so guess who's here? Hobbs is here, and before I get started, I guess I better let you see him. There he is. Are you ready for your biscuit? Sit. Are you gonna sit? He's getting too old to sit. Okay, we'll give you your biscuit, but come on camera. Okay, sit. Good boy. Oh, you will sit for the biscuit. Good boy. There we go. All right. That's the signature move, Hobbs. He loves to be on camera, and he loves to have his biscuits, of course. Oh, and I see, my question of the day has been answered by Mitch. He likes shrimp, which he had for dinner tonight. And he also has put in steak. So I know what I can make next week. or tomorrow even. Anyways, if you're tuning in and you're on Facebook, you would like to make a comment, if you haven't given StreamYard the permission to show your name, then it's just going to show up as Facebook user. So that's fine, but type in your name so I can talk to you. Oh, I've got another option from Mitch. It's a whole chicken. Okay. I think he's just like placing an order for, for the dinners for the next few nights. That's actually quite funny. Okay. So anyways, let's get to it. Let's talk about our number 1 tip. And like I said, these are in no particular order. But the first tip is clean your grill. Always make sure that you are working with a clean grill. I'm going to stop that ticker because it's annoying. Anyways, you want to make sure that you heat it up, you clean it off, and what we do in our house is we actually clean it after we're done cooking. So Mitch will turn on the grill, turn it up to full blast, like the highest heat, for about 10 minutes with the cover on, and that helps to get it to any of the crunchy food that's on there is going to get kind of incinerated, and then he uses a tool to scrape it off. But if you don't have a tool, guess what you can use? A ball of aluminum foil works just as well. So that's my first tip. Clean your grill and make sure you heat it up for like about 10 minutes. Our next tip is, our next tip, where is it? Here we go, is oil the grates before you cook, because it's really important that the food doesn't stick to the grill grates. And the best way to do that is to take a paper towel and wad it up like this. I put a little bit of oil in a prep bowl, and then I use a tongs to grab the oiled paper towel and just guide it along the grates. It turns kind of black because it's going to get charred a little bit because of the way it goes across the grill, because there's flames down there, but it helps to prevent your food from sticking. And that's really important. You want to heat up your grill for about 5 to 10 minutes prior to doing that. So you just put the oil on right before you're ready to cook. Okay, so that is tip number 2. You want a clean surface and you want an oiled surface. So the next tip, number 3, is make everything the same size. If you're cooking chicken, you want them all the same size. If you're cooking steaks, you don't want a thin steak and a thick steak because they're not going to get cooked at the same rate. So like that is really important. So just make sure that you, oh, and Mitch is saying thumbs up to that. Thank you, Mitch. It's really important to have that, sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh, so number 3. Make everything the same size. If you have, let's see. I just want to make sure I don't miss any points. Yeah, they'll cook at the same rate if they're the same size. And then there's no guesswork in it, okay? So tip number 4, excuse me, is use spices or rubs to add flavor to your meats. That totally makes sense. And your vegetables as well. Totally makes sense. You want to add, you can add your rubs or your spices at the beginning. If you're going to do a sauce, I suggest doing that towards the end, like the last maybe 10 minutes if it's been on the grill for a while, or the last 3 minutes. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're cooking, but you definitely don't want to cook with the sauces for any length of time because they will burn. But the rubs usually tend to not burn. And you can marinate your meat too. That's another good tip, which I didn't put in here. And that will make it tender. Tip number 5 is use a meat thermometer. I have a couple to show you. I have the Pampered Chef, the new Pampered Chef digital thermometer, which is great because you just turn it on and stick the little probe in. Let's see if I can turn it on. There we go. It's 68 degrees. Now it's 77 degrees. Look at how quickly it changes. You put the little probe into the meat and it does the work for you. And it's even got information about what temperatures everything should be when you take it off the grill. Another great thing about this particular one is if you have a roast or something, you can stick the probe into the roast, and have it outside your barbecue or your oven, and it attaches to the meat thermometer this way. And then what's nice about that is you don't have to keep opening it up to see whether it's done. And it has like a little magnet on it too, so that you can stick it on the outside of the barbecue or the grill. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now, if you don't have to have one as fancy, you can do just a plain old dial one. Instant read is great. And you don't want to leave that in. If it's an instant read thermometer, it's not meant to be stuck in the meat. But, it'll give you a quick reading on what the temperature is so that you don't undercook it or overcook it. And that's really important. Okay, the next one that's really important is air circulation. You don't want to crowd the things that are on the grill. You want to have air circulation so that it can actually cook pretty easily. That just helps it. It's like air circulation is important even when you're cooking in a fry pan. You don't want to crowd the meat in the frying pan. It just won't cook as well. It'll kind of steam as opposed to saute in a fry pan, or let's say on the grill. It won't get as well cooked. I guess that's the way to look at it. Okay, so again, if you, I meant to keep with that. Again, if you would like to tell me what you like to barbecue, put them in the comments. I'd love to see. Okay, the next thing, number 7, is add some flavor by using wood chips. You can get wood chips from all different kinds of fruit trees, like applewood and hickory. Well, hickory is not a fruit tree technically. You get cherry wood, you can get grape, you can get peach trees, and all you have to do is soak it in water for at least an hour. And then you put it in you make a little foil packet, poke some holes in it. Of course, you drain it first, and then you can put that right on your barbecue grate or your grill grate. Or if you are using charcoal, you can put it underneath the grate, right in the coals. And as that heats up, it creates this wonderful smoke and a smoky flavor. And it's like having your own smoker without a smoker. So, but it adds a lot of flavor that way. So definitely, so remember, at least soak them for at least an hour. Okay, the next, number 8. Number 8 coming up, and I do have a bonus one. Okay, number 8, don't mix your raw meat with your cooked meat. This is something that people forget. You know, they take their implements and they put them, they use them to put the meat on the barbecue, and then it just sits there, and then they turn it with the same thing. So meat can have some bacteria on it, and if you don't wash your utensils in between, you can transfer that bacteria to the meat that's cooking. So that's just, you know, a healthy habit to get into. So don't mix, and in the platter, the same thing. You're gonna bring out your meat on a platter. You definitely wanna make sure that you do not take the food off of the grill once it's cooked and put it on a platter that's had raw meat on it. So make sure you cook it, you wash it first. Okay, and the last tip I'm gonna give you tonight, this little bonus tip. But before I give you the bonus, I wanted to tell you, if you wanna join over in my Facebook VIP club, we are gonna be doing a grilling challenge, and we're gonna show 3 of our favorite grilled recipes, or some of our fails. It's okay, you can show a failure too. And you'll be entered into a drawing for one of our wonderful Pampered Chef rubs. So there's a little incentive to go over to my Facebook group, which is Sarah Stovetop's VIP Club. And I guess I should put that in there. Hold on, I will do that. Sarah. Oops. Oh, here it is. I can just put it in there. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. All right, there it is. Hold on, show you that. And I actually can do that in the comments too. So I think I can comment back. There we go. Go, put that in the comments. I think it can go in. Oh no, it didn't go in. Ah. All right, well, I'll put it in the comments below this. Sorry about that. And I will, oh, here are some great tips from my husband. Okay, let's show this. He says to use the indirect method for most cooking. Yes. Usually indirect is when you turn off the middle burner, I believe, and you leave the 2 side burners on, and that way the heat circulates, but it isn't directly on some of the food. And the other suggestion is to have a cocktail while you're grilling. I think that's a great suggestion. And I think I forgot to give you one tonight when we were making the shrimp. Darn. But we had one at dinner. So that's good. All right, so join my VIP club and you'll be able to get some, get in on the, on our wonderful challenge. And here is your bonus tip. Let me go through I'll kind of recap for you. So number 1 was cleaning your grill. Number 2 was oil your grates. Number 3 was make everything the same size. Number 4, use spices or rubs for flavor. Number 6 is use a meat thermometer, really important. Make sure you have air circulation is number 6. Add some flavor with wood chips is number 7. And number 8 is do not mix your raw with your cooked meats. And here's your bonus tip. Oh, I got a heart. Oh, thank you for the heart, whoever gave that. Bonus tip is never use water to douse the flames. People don't realize this, but that's a grease fire inside your grill. And so you cannot use water on it to make the flame go out. The best way to reduce your flame is to close the lid and remove the oxygen that's in there. So that is my bonus tip for you. If you have any other comments or tips, feel free to share them, as we've gotten from Mitch. And anybody else who wants to share, I would love that. But I thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you next week, because next week I'm going to do some more barbecue tips. Let's see. I have a couple more barbecue tips, but I didn't want to go too far over my time. I always try to be very specific about my time. So have a great evening. This is Sarah Stovetop saying thanks so much for joining me for Tool Time Tuesday, episode 134, where we talked about 8 simple steps or simple tips, grilling tips. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for joining me. See you soon.